This is Detour, the best stories in Black travel.
This is Excursions with Gina Arias, Cuba edition, Part 1. Cuba, the closest Caribbean island to the United States, just 90 miles from Florida. Vilified by some, revered by the rest. In the past, getting to Cuba from the United States meant traveling via Canada or Mexico and getting a license from the U.S. government, or traveling illegally without a license. If you went without a license, Cuban customs agents would not stamp your passport, so there'd be no record of your visit. With the easing of regulations to travel to Cuba, we decided it was time to go. My partner, Fred Ones, who is a DJ, graffiti artist, and audio engineer, had never been. For me, an official hip-hop head who loves traveling, it would be my second visit to the island. Our plan was to enjoy the beauty of the people and the culture, so of course that meant checking the hip-hop scene in Havana. But we needed contacts. For that, I turned to a friend of mine who co-directed a film about hip-hop in Latin America. When I asked him for contacts in the Cuban hip-hop community, he told me,
Nah, see, they all left Cuba. You gotta go check for them in Miami, California, or New York.
Turns out, however, that the hip-hop community is alive and well and thriving. During our short visit, we met MCs, producers, and DJs who are working to push the culture forward while being faced with many challenges, as well as possessing some resources that we were surprised to find. Resources like a government-run rap agency. You heard that right, a government-run institution dedicated to hip-hop. There were also top-notch performance venues and well-equipped rehearsal studios, such as the one we found ourselves in when we caught up with El Lápiz and Conciencia, one of the newer school acts that is infusing pride in being of African descent into their lyrics and their sound. We sat down to talk about the Cuban hip-hop scene with El Individuo, who, together with Jay Diacere, make up Conciencia. Primeramente quisiera preguntarte cómo es la escena, o sea, el ambiente de hip hop, la comunidad de hip hop aquí en La Habana. Talk to me about the hip hop scene in Havana.
La escena aquí en La Habana, como ya les estaba explicando ahorita, es...
The scene here in Havana is a bit alternative. We live in the Caribbean, and reggaeton and salsa are big here. It's a more Caribbean sound. But there is a hip-hop scene, a hip-hop movement that is a bit separated by element. The MCs with the MCs, the B-boys with the B-boys, and the graffiti writers with the graffiti writers. As such, the concept of hip-hop, as all those elements united, has been somewhat lost here at the moment. But yes, there is a movement that functions.
And why do you think that the unity of elements has been somewhat lost?
I think it has somewhat to do with the musical tendencies that exist right now. For example, the DJs are more working in the area of electronic music, the B-boys as well. Their dancing is not as associated with hip-hop anymore, and the rappers, the current school of rappers, is more interested in the lyricism as opposed to danceable music, which may be affecting the B-boys as well and their dancing. And so they use more danceable electronic music for their choreographies.
Entonces por eso quizás utilizan otro tipo de música para hacer sus coreografías y esas cosas. Por lo menos en ese sentido.
Let's talk a little about your track Mi Raza.
It's a project called Afro Razones, created by DJ Higüey and La Guampara music label. DJ Higüey was the DJ for Obsesión. He found both old school and new school rappers to make a compilation whose theme was the traditions of Africa that still exist here in Cuba. This record was worked on a bit more seriously. New York Times, Vibe, Vice, The Fader, they and other media all came here to Cuba interested in that record and that project based on the themes it touched on and the quality of the record. And after this record, a lot of doors have opened for us. Recently, we recorded a track about Ife and NPR publicized it. And I think it's opened a lot of doors for us new school rappers to the world. Previously, we were sort of here messing around amongst ourselves, and now it's changing into something more serious and respected. And I think the Afro Razones record was super influential for the hip-hop movement here in Cuba, because it wasn't just a record. There were also workshops conducted to teach rappers how to work the networks, which we knew nothing about.
Why is it so important to talk about being of African descent?
Those were the first themes when hip-hop first started in Cuba, but that was lost after some time. I myself, to participate in the project, had to read and learn many things I did not know. Besides helping us export the music a bit, it also helped me learn. I knew what I wanted with my music, but I didn't know where it came from.
Pero no sabía de dónde venía exactamente, o no sé qué era lo que yo estaba haciendo, por qué lo estaba haciendo. Y este disco me enseñó mucho sobre eso.
Llevo bajo mi piel sangre que cruzó mares para ser esclavo y la mano de aquel que clavó un puñal sobre su opresor. La valentía de quien batalló contra un tirano, la frialdad de Maceo frente a un fusil español. La oratoria de Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, el valor de Quintín, la escritura de Juan Gualberto Gómez, el partido Pantera Negra, junto al Independiente de color grabados los dos en el mismo pullover. Soy folclor, soy llanto, soy guerra, orilla, soy canto, soy monina, soy egobio, soy heriero, soy quebranto, manto de penumbra, huellas de gloria sobre el asfalto, cuna de destierro y guerras de cultura me hicieron esa.
Stay tuned for part 2.